This video is going to explain the other 5 graphs on your study guide. So each of these graphs are different. You want to pay attention to what type of graph you're looking at by looking at the symbol next to it. So this is a position time graph, velocity time graph, acceleration time graph, another velocity, and another acceleration time graph. So it's really important on your quiz or a test to pay attention to what type of graph you're looking at. So for graph number 1, we have a position time graph, and we have a diagonal line. So for this particular graph, we are moving forwards because it is going upwards on the graph. So we're going to be moving forwards. And it is going to be moving at a constant velocity. In order to have acceleration show on a position time graph, we would need to have a curved line. Since we do not have a curve, it has a constant velocity. So the object is moving forwards with a constant velocity. For graph number 2, we have the same diagonal line as graph number 1, however, it being a velocity graph changes things. So on a velocity graph, when we have a diagonal line, that is going to represent acceleration. So it is accelerating, and to determine if it's speeding up or slowing down, you want to see if it's going towards or away from the x-axis, because your x-axis is going to represent a velocity of 0. So if we turn this line into an arrow, it is moving away from our x-axis. So that would imply that this object is speeding up. All right. And since the line is above the x-axis, and it would have a positive velocity to it, or it is going to be moving forwards. And we'll work more on that next week as well in class. For graph number 3, we have, again, a diagonal line. However, for the purposes of our class, we are not working with these, so that is merely there to throw you off a little bit. For graph number 4, we have, again, a velocity time graph like we did in number 2, but this time we have a horizontal line. So with a horizontal line, that is going to imply a constant velocity because it is staying at that same speed or same velocity the entire time that it's moving. So it's moving at constant velocity. It is going to be moving forwards because it is above your x-axis, and again, we will look more at that in the coming days. And lastly, for graph number 5, we have an acceleration time graph with a horizontal line, which is all you're going to see on acceleration time graphs. So our line is above our x-axis, so it is accelerating, and it has a positive acceleration. Now, we technically don't know enough information to know what else it's doing. You would simply just say, yes, it's accelerating. So if I were to ask you on a quiz which of these graphs show an object accelerating, you would want to say graph number 2 and graph number 2 and graph number 5 are accelerating. If I asked you which ones were keeping a constant velocity, you'd say 1 and 4. Would be questions that I ask. If I asked you which were not moving, it'd be none of the above. So those are the kind of questions that you will see. So I hope this video helps. I will see you in class.